Hi everyone, thanks for joining me and welcome to In Deep on the Delta. This is the weekly report for 6/20, and if I'm a little scattered today, just bear with me. I'm trying to do my 10,000 subscriber giveaway, trying to catch a few fish out here, trying to keep the channel afloat, and I have had a ton of response to our giveaway. And the first thing I want to say is, for all you guys that have sent in and with your congratulations and your reports and stuff, I want to thank you. If I have missed responding to some of you, believe me, I've been reading all the comments, absolutely all of the reports, but you know, this last week or so has been really busy. The volume has been great, so please keep your comments coming in, and just know if I can't get to you guys with you know, at least a thumbs up this next couple of weeks, I'm reading them and I really appreciate them. And remember, for you guys that are sending in reports, I read every report, whether it comes in on my Gmail or whether you respond to a video or the weekly report. I read them and I log those up here. It's the volume of people giving me those short reports that allow me to come on and just, you know, kind of relay that information to you in a very short period of time. So thank you guys, keep responding, and like I said, we will be announcing the first two winners of the 10,000 In Deep on the Delta 10,000 subscriber giveaway. I want to talk about the prizes that I'm going to give away next week, and I also want to talk about prizes that are coming in for the next month or so. I'm going to be having a lot of baits and a lot of things from local people, the people that have supported the channel, the people that have maybe shot baits over to me to have them have me check them out and maybe do a review on them. I'm going to have guys from, I'm going to talk to Adrian from CNC Baits. I'm sure I'm going to get a package from him. Adrian, I'll be calling you very shortly. I've been in contact with Bait Chuckin'. If you haven't checked out Bait Chuckin' YouTube, Michael's over there. He's going to make some custom, he's a plastic bait maker. He's got some great worms. He's got some great trailers. He's pretty Delta specific a lot of times. He's going to make up some In Deep on the Delta colors, and I really like his stuff. We're going to have a package from Michael over there at Bait Chuckin'. Geez, who else? Obviously Rob. We're going to have some gift certificates from Rob and maybe some stuff from the shop. Geez, who else are I need to hit up? There's you know, Marlon from Crappie Closet Baits. He's going to send me over, I'm sure, what's going to be a beautiful package of crappie lures. And generally, when Marlon puts together a package, whoever it is that wins that is going to have enough crappie baits probably for the next several years. Now, next week there's going to be 3 winners, and the first winner that we're going to talk about is going to get a custom bluegill swim bait from, let me get this right here, Big Nasty Baits. Gabe Naha over at Big Nasty Baits makes these beautiful swim baits. They catch fish. They're limited edition stuff. Gabe, you know, is a working man, and he hand paints every one of these. They're all handmade. So this is going to be one of the baits that we put in the raffle next week, and that's from Big Nasty Baits. I want to thank Gabe for supporting the channel. And again, all of these baits that we talk about are limited production baits. For you striper guys, I'm from Delta Glides. Sal over there at Delta Glides. I've got he makes this really cool kind of wood chopper striper bait. Extremely well-made baits. I don't even know that Sal sells these. He packages them up. I know I've got a few, and I've given to a few friends that have really done well on them. I think they have great action, so hopefully one of you striper guys gets this. Nice bait. We're going to get a couple more of these, and like I say, very limited production. You can't go out and buy these on the shelf, and that's a wood chopper bait from Delta Glides. The other thing I've got, and I don't have the package for this one, but Bob Mercer over at Ram Baits, I've got one of his absolutely beautiful custom rats, and not only limited production for this, but Bob had a little accident on one of his workbenches, and he cut his hand. I don't know how many of these are going to be available. So this is a Ram Rats custom swim bait, all wood, hand carved, beautiful paint, and this is from Bob Mercer over at Ram Rats. And like I said, all of these guys have supported me, and I'd like to give back to them and support them. So let's get into announcing the winners for last week's, or I guess this week's giveaway. Then we'll get into talking about what's going on out here on the Delta. So for the In Deep on the Delta half-day trip out here, we have Rich P8024. That's RICH P8024. Rich, you have won the In Deep on the Delta half-day guide out here. What I want you to do is send me your contact information at scooper9561032@gmail.com. I'm going to give you guys, the winners, at least a week, obviously, to respond. If I don't hear from you in this week, I'll announce that, again, that you've won next week, and you'll have 2 weeks to respond to that. So first, the first name and the In Deep on the Delta trip is going to Rich at P8024. The second name that I drew was Tiger Tank 123, and that's for the River to Sea prize package. And again, River to Sea has been really, has really supported me, especially when it comes to the youth fishermen out there. When I get the chance to go out and talk to the different clubs, they always set me up with some baits and stuff that I can bring out there. So big thanks to River to Sea. And Tiger Tank, you are the winner for that. It's a prize package. I think there's 11 baits in it. We'll get a picture up there. You've got rovers, poppers, whopper ploppers, biggies. I think the prize package is worth about $100, maybe a little over. So those are the 2 winners. Let's get into the report. And river conditions out here are changing a little bit because, we've had some 100-degree temperatures. We've had some nights that are actually pretty darn cold out here. We're getting wind. So I have reported in the last couple weeks, I've been looking at 78 to 80-degree water temps. I get a lot of folks that are saying they're getting 72, 74-degree water temps, and I'm thinking, man, maybe my graph is wrong, but I think it's just scattered throughout the Delta, depending on where you are. This week, I've been getting somewhere around 73 to 75-degree water temps. There are still people sending me 72 to 74 temps. I was out Tuesday, and I think I started out at 72. By about 10 o'clock, the temperature went up to 75. So I'm just going to say that you're going to be looking at around 75 to 80-degree water temps, especially if we get the heat and the wave action slows down. Visibility is basically 2 to 4 feet. And like I was talking with Rob from the Bass Hole last week, and he thinks, and I think he doesn't think, I think it's kind of science, that when we get these low tides and we get wind at night, it really chocolates up the water. And I think that's what it's done. Early this week, I was looking at places that I had 5 to 6 feet of visibility that dropped down to, I'll say, 2 to 3 feet of visibility. And it was all because of that, 25 to 30 mile an hour wind that came up. We had some low tides, and I'm sure that that's what chopped up or chocolated up the water. Still fishable, not a big deal. It's you have to continually change your methods from week to week depending on the weather, water temps, and water clarity. We'll get into that when we start talking about the report. Sea lion activity is very low. I have been seeing this week, because we're coming onto a full moon, there's a lot more activity for the beavers and the otters. And we're going to really talk about this full moon coming up in the next week, because I'm going to be doing some night fishing. And what I'm going to hope for is that the tides that coincide with the full moon, the stronger tides, the better tidal coefficients we have, is going to kick the bite into gear a little bit. There's really pretty light fishing pressure on the Delta right now, so take that into consideration. The Delta is fishing. The last week has just been okay. A lot of people are catching fish, but the big takeaway for me is a lot of people are catching smaller fish, and we'd all like to catch some some bigger fish. But remember, these fish are still in the spawn. I'm getting a lot of reports from various people in various areas of the Delta that they're still seeing fish in real shallow, sitting on beds. And as this spawn goes through its 2, 3, or 4 month period here on the Delta, and remember, these things probably, the first flight came in late February, and they're going to come in probably through, you know, the first part of July. These big females go into pre-spawn and spawn and post-spawn, and in that post-spawn period, they don't bite. You know, they're hard. I'm not saying they don't bite, but they're recuperating from spawning. So the last month, we've seen these peaks and valleys with the big fish, and that's the spawn, the actual spawn, and the post-spawn blues. And then as these females come out of their post-spawn, we get that week or two where, you know, everybody's catching big fish, and then everybody's wondering where the big fish went. Well, they're coming in and out of spawn and post-spawn. They're not quite in their summer mood yet. Let's talk about I want to call it the top 70. It's the Future Pro tournament that was out here, and I think it was Sunday. They are limited to 75 boats, and they had 75 boats on the roster. I don't know how many showed up, but really underwhelming weights for the tournament. Out of 75 boats, and 48 boats weighed in out of the 75. 17.3 won first place, 17.3 pounds. That's Carson Lieber and Brett Nielsen. Congratulations to you guys. The big fish for the tournament was only 6.2 pounds, and there were only 2 other fish that I saw that were over 5 pounds. Out of the 48 boats that weighed in, middle of the pack was right around 8 pounds. So that's pretty tough fishing, and I know a lot of the guys that fished in that tournament. I talked to several of them, and they all basically said the same thing. Everybody was scattered out. Seemed like everybody was junk fishing. Whether you were at Liberty, Central Delta, or South, the fishing was, you know, was tough. You had to move around, and it was just basically whoever, you know, hit the right fish on the head. Not a lot of big fish coming in, and tough fishing. The good thing is that most of the people that weighed in, I saw the overwhelming majority of them that had a 5 fish limit. A few guys had 3 and 4 fish, but everybody was catching fish. And you know, if you're not fishing tournaments, the average size of the fish has been pretty darn good out here. I'll say it's leveling off to around 2 to 3 pounds, which is a good average size. So just because they didn't have great weights in the tournament doesn't mean if you're coming out here on the weekends and looking for fun, you're still going to catch a good number of fish. You're going to have to wade through rats, but there's going to be some nice 2 and 3 pound fish that come in. Stripers this week, I know everybody's still catching them. I haven't got a lot of reports. I've caught 3 or 4 this week that are just keeper size, right in that 20-inch range. I've caught them mostly on topwaters. I've been throwing a rover a lot, so those rovers and spooks tend to pull in the stripers, and they have been in places where you would think they're not. They're places where I'm actually trying to catch a bass, very shallow water, in the flats, things like that, and all of a sudden you get this big blow up and you think it's a 5, 6, 7 pound bass, and it's a striper. So the stripers are in, and man, you know, I'd like to, they look like they're in great shape. They've got pretty good girth, but when I grab them and get the hooks out of them, they are so warm that I just don't feel like keeping any of them to eat. So I think I'm going to wait for the water to cool off before I start keeping a few of the stripers. But anyhow, they're in the system. What everybody has been saying, worms, crankbaits are starting to come on, crawdad color crankbaits. There's been a frog bite on and off. Topwaters in the morning and the evening, and I've been throwing my bubble walker, a Rico, and I've been throwing a glide bait, getting an occasional tick on that, but I'm not getting any big fish on the glide baits. The rovers have been doing well. I've been throwing that Demiki air frog. I'm getting some blow-ups on that, but it's pretty inconsistent. I don't think it's really worth getting up at 4 in the morning and fishing that change of light bite. In the morning, if you're going to do a change of light bite, I think it would be in the evening. Right as soon as it gets dark, that bite that bite just shuts off and it picks up a little bit about 10 o'clock. It hasn't been fantastic, so I haven't stayed out I have not stayed out all night. But with these full moons coming up, I will be staying out on a couple all-nighters, and I'm hoping to get some bigger fish, and we're going to have some good tides for you guys that want to fish after dark. They're a little bit late, but that's when the bigger fish come out. So look at that full moon. Expect a little better tides and expect the general fishing to pick up. Now, my fishing has been not what it was a couple weeks ago, but it's been pretty darn consistent as long as I keep my nose to the grindstone. Now, the last couple days, it's been tough for me, but what I've done is, it's kind of like a guy that goes up gambling. I'm entering the casino and I'm just kind of walking around looking where I want to put my money down, because I'm really thinking about next week when the lights go off, and I'm going to come out with some stuff like these big rats and things like that, looking for one bite. So I've been kind of moving around. I can say the nice thing about that is I'm fishing areas that I have not fished this year, and I'm picking up fish in pretty much everywhere I go. Some places better than the others. Still, the fish are on rock. If there's a good rock bank that has some depth to it and you've got a good trough in it and not too much witch's hair, that's still producing. A lot of guys are fishing Thule Islands now. I heard that there was some action in that last tournament, the Future Pro tournament, or the Top 75 tournament. There was some action right around Frank's track. So the fish are scattered. You just have to go out, and it's going to be junk fishing. Drop shots are still picking up worms, or drop shots are still picking up fish. And you can also, I'm getting bites on horny toads, I'm getting bites on chatterbaits, and I haven't thrown spinner baits, but a lot of the guys are catching fish on spinner baits. So with those moving baits, you just have to look what's in front of you in the water. If you've got a lot of sparse tules, that might be the place you want to throw a spinner bait. As you get more vegetation, you want to maybe keep it not only a spinner bait on your deck, but a chatterbait. So you get into that heavy vegetation, you throw the chatterbait. And you guys know I like to throw that frog with an underspin. I'm getting bit on that a lot. I think a lot of the bites that I'm getting and not connecting with may be bluegill. The perch and stuff, they're out here spawning. I'm getting a lot of guys talking about catching big perch. I think we got a picture of one today that it was over a pound. The guy caught on what did he catch it on? Not a chatterbait. He caught it on a crankbait. I've caught a couple really nice ones on the Rico. You know, you usually don't catch these things on poppers, but when they come up, they're close to a pound. So a lot of bluegill out there. They're nipping at worms and stuff. So you gotta just contend with that and get in there and do your thing. And if you have enough persistence, you're going to get that 3, 4, 5 pound fish. Anything over 5 pounds in this last week or so has been tough. But coming up with these new tides, let's see if my prediction doesn't come through. We're going to see a lot more fish over 5 pounds in the next week to 10 days. So with that, make sure you guys are sending in your comments and hit me up with those reports for you guys that are out here. And I'm going to pack up. Remember, we'll be doing the giveaways for the next at least 3 weeks. And we are planning Rob and I are going to plan I don't know what we're going to call it, a meet and greet or an informational exchange day out at the Bass Hole. As soon as I get a date from Rob, I'll let you guys know what's going on out there. And I think what we're going to try to do is Rob's going to get some of his more accomplished buddies to stop by. I'll be out there all day. I'm going to try to get some of my friends to maybe go out there. The guys that I know that don't mind giving information, so that there's going to be a group of people out there. When you go out there, you're not only going to be able to look through the baits and stuff, but you'll be able to ask questions and get some, personalized ideas on what various anglers, productive anglers are doing out there. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you catch some fish this week. We'll see you next week, and I'll have some more winners to announce for the Ram Rat, the Delta Glide Baits, Wood Chopper Striper Bait, and the Big Nasty Bluegill. See you guys out on the river. Good luck.